निर्गुण और न्यारे तुमरे बिना हमरा कौनो नाही। हमरी उलझन सुलझाओ भगवन तुमरे बिना हमरा कौनो नाही। तुमरे बिना हमरा कौनो नाही। तुमरे बिना हमरा कौनो नाही। Thank you.
Fulfilling his duty as a warrior. Every human has an inborn fear, maybe because we care. We care about our families and our professional work. We all want to pass that dreadful entrance exam, be promoted to a better position, and want to have loan to start a new business venture. Somewhere deep down, we all want to succeed. This desire to succeed may bring in fear sometimes. Some may have other fears. But what is fear? Where is its origin from? How can we overcome it? All these are mind boggling thoughts. So, to enlighten us all, we have among us in our team Mrs. Archana Devkar, Design Assurance Engineer in Boston Scientific, SME, Cybersecurity, Minnesota, United States of America. Let me introduce you all to Mr. Satyaraj Iyer. Everyone knows him, the Senior Education Consultant, Chhattisgarh Government, our very own SAGES leader. We also have Mr. Santosh Kumar Nishad from SAGES Rajnandgaon, Miss Anjali Singh from SAGES Janjgiri, and myself, Mrs. Neeta Netam from SAGES Damtari.
According to our Indian tradition, Atithi Devo Bhava, we regard our guests as God. So, time to Neeta ma'am.
On this auspicious occasion, I take privilege to welcome first of all our guest speaker, Mrs. Archana Devkar, among us. Next in the segment, I would like to welcome our team leader, Mr. Satyaraj Iyer sir. Next, I would like to welcome all my colleagues, teachers, and my dear students for a wonderful evening ahead.
With a great jubilance and excitement, I, Santosh Kumar Nishad, Assistant Teacher, Sages Rajnandgaon, now take the privilege to invite Archana Devkar ma'am on the podium to enlighten us all on fear.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so honored, trust me. And yes, I like as Nita said, she really introduced really nicely, and I hope that this session would help you to come out of any fear if you have. So rightly said, Nita, like what is fear? And the most important thing is what is the origin of the fear is have you ever thought of something like this? We always think about, oh, I'm scared of something, I'm afraid of this, or we think about phobias, different phobias, but have you ever given a single thought on the origin of the fear? Do you know like who is fearless in this world? You might say no, no one. But I say there are not just one, but millions of them who are fearless. You know who? A newborn child. A newborn child is a fearless human being because the kid does not know what fear is. You might have seen some videos where mother is putting the really small child, a month-old child, in swimming pool without any assistance, and the kid is just swimming or floating, rather, not swimming, floating. How? Like why the kid is not scared of drowning? Because the kid doesn't know what fear is. Then who teaches a kid about fear? You would say no one. Why someone would teach a kid about fear? But trust me, knowing or unknowingly, knowingly or unknowingly, we teach kids about fear, like to get scared of something. For example, if a really small baby is crawling on the floor and by accident it goes near to a flame, maybe a candle, a diya, or something like that. What a mother does? She just goes and grabs the kid and holds and she's like, "Oh my God!" And the baby doesn't understand much, but it is just watching or observing the mom's expressions or the words, and it understands like, okay, something is wrong, and my mom is not good. She's not good. She's not doing good. And that's how they learn, like, okay, some flame is dangerous or is not good. And that's how unknowingly they learn about the fear. Now, as we grow old, it's not like only our parents or brothers or sisters who we observe. We observe everyone and we learn from everyone. So we learn good things, we learn bad things, and we learn to get afraid of the things. Like when I was a kid, I told my dad, like, Dad, I'm scared of darkness. And he laughed and he's like, No, you're not. And I'm like, Yes, I am. And he's like, No, you're not scared of darkness. You're scared of each and everything in that darkness that you cannot see. I'm like, Oh, yeah, you're right. Then what should I do? He's like, Just turn the light on. And I'm like, Oh, that's easy. But to turn the light on, it's in the darkness. How should I get up and go and turn the button on? And he's like, okay, you need to gather that much courage, because if you want to overcome this fear of darkness, you need to do that. I'm like, okay. Next time I got scared um, of the darkness, I gathered all my courage and I turned the light on to see what is it. And it was a piece of plastic rolling on the floor. And I was just laughing out loud. And after that, every time when I got scared of darkness, I turned the light on and I found really silly things which were scaring me off. Lesson learned. Whenever you're scared of anything, turn the light on, get yourself educated, know what's that thing that is scaring you off, and here you go. You're not scared anymore. So there are like so many fears, like um, what the most biggest fear is what people would say. What if this happens? What if that happens? So the next thing is, what is fear? So fear is nothing but your awesome imagination. So what do you do is you imagine something which is not even there. What if this would happen? What if that would happen? So you just give yourself an awesome chance to create an imagination which that leads to insecurity. So when you try to imagine something bad, it always ends up in some bad thing. And so many times, like maybe 80-90% of the time, it even doesn't happen. It even doesn't take place, but you're scared of those things, right? And then you're just wasting your time getting scared of the things, right? So that's how it works. So whenever you're scared, just please don't imagine anything bad. Rather, find another options, like what options you have, and then find the solution, enlighten yourself, educate yourself, gain the knowledge, and the fear is gone. Please interrupt me whenever you have questions. Otherwise, I can talk a day long on fear.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable talk.
Do you
It's
have
time
any?
for Anjana ma'am.
Sure.
Thank you. जब छेड़ा मल्हार किसी ने झूम के सावन आया आग लगा दी पानी में जब दीपक राग सुनाया सात सुरों का संगम है जीवन गीतों की माला हम अपने भगवान को भी कहते हैं बांसुरी वाला बांसुरी वाला Sim sim pola pola sim pola pola sim pola fine flat flute pipe petula petula drum tubeless simbola duri paso pamarisa duri paso pamarisa duri paso pamarisa ये दुनिया एक दुल्हन ये दुनिया एक दुल्हन दुल्हन के माथे की बिंदिया ये मेरा इंडिया ये मेरा इंडिया ये मेरा इंडिया ये मेरा इंडिया हो 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 तेरी मिट्टी में मिल जावा गुल बन के मैं खिल जावा इतनी सी है दिल की आरज़ू तेरी नदियों में बह जावा तेरे खेतों में लहरावा इतनी सी है दिल की आरज़ू इतनी सी है दिल की आरज़ू हो 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 Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
listening.
Anjana.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anjana ma'am. This is the desire of the martyr to mix in the soil of his motherland and bloom as a beautiful rose and spread the fragrance of patriotism, love, and dedication all around. How beautiful! Today, we have such a blossoming rose from the family of the patriot, the Devkars, among us. So, viewers, hold your breath to listen to Mrs. Archana Devkar. Words fall short to describe this multi-talented and multifaceted personality. She is a charismatic personality who is not only a successful design engineer, cybersecurity expert, a caring wife, loving mother, but also a social worker. Coming from the family of freedom fighters, yes, her great grandparents had a printing press in the underground of their house. Her grandmother used to take the responsibility of the children of the martyrs or the Jawans who sacrificed their lives, gave them money, and educated them. The same strain came into the blood of Archana. She started supporting the children of her servants first, and then later she joined the Child Fund International Organization, where she takes care of kids by helping them with grocery, giving them books, motivates them, and takes care of them. Apart from this, she motivates many and many in the society through her inspiring and stimulating talk. She makes a perfect balance between her professional and personal life. Blessed with two kids, whom she doesn't forget to teach, help everyone around them, around you. She has a motto in life to just keep laughing, helping, inspiring, and bringing about the change in someone's life. We are really blessed, ma'am, today to have you among us. We have among us another eminent personality of the nation, none other than Mr. Satyaraj Iyer, sir. Who does not know him? A young and dynamic leader of SAGES Group. He's the Senior Education Consultant of the Government, Chief Minister's Good Governance Fellow, Senior Consultant KMPG India, Fellow Upgrade.com, etc. He has more feathers to his cap. If we go on, the list is long and time is less. Kudos to your contributions to both of you in the field of education and to society also. May God bless you both for your kind deeds. And now for the further program, I hand over to Santosh, my co-host for the day.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. With great jubilance, yeah.
With great jubilance and excitement,
Can, yes, ma'am. Just a second. No?
we would like to talk to ma'am further. So I
Yeah.
would now call upon
Yeah.
Santosh to, with his questions to ma'am. Whatever questions you have in your mind,
With
you can
great
throw it to
jubilance.
ma'am.
Sure, sure, sure. So now, ma'am, actually, we are having some questions which we
Sure.
are going to put now. So my first question here is, sometimes it happens that many people have some kind of phobia, such as acrophobia, aquaphobia, pyrophobia, and many more such as. So, what are the ways to overcome from such phobias?
So, when you say phobia is nothing but you're scared of something. And trust me, like those names you have just taken, those are very popular phobias, like you're scared of height, you're scared of water, or something like that. But there are hundreds of phobias out there, and there is no generic solution or one solution for all phobias. But the way they treat phobia is they try to understand the root cause, and then they try to fix it. So sometimes it is possible to fix it. Sometimes it depends on totally on the person who's suffering from that mental illness. Like I would say I would give you one example. Like I was scared of swimming pool. So aquaphobia is something which you're scared of water, but I'm drinking water, so I'm not exactly scared of water, but swimming pool. Why? Because when I was kid, my coach, he just pushed me in the swimming pool, and he thought, oh, that's the way of teaching kids because they are scared and they know how to survive. But I was not that strong. I was not that strong, and I was scared to death. And I'm like, oh, I'm dying now. But somehow my elder brother, my cousin brother, was there in the pool, and he came to help me. He grabbed my hand, and I was like, I was out of the pool, but I never went to swimming classes ever again in my life. And but what I did is I made sure that my kids are learning swimming because I was scared of that swimming pool thing. For the first time, my son pulled me in the swimming pool and saying, Mama, you are scared of drowning in the water. You can touch your feet. It's just 4 feet high. First thing, you won't drown. Second thing, I would teach you to float. And he grabbed my hand and he's like, take this waist off and stuff like that. You don't need that. I'm like, scared. I'm like, okay, but I cannot show my kid that I'm super scared. I need to be brave in front of him. I'm like, okay, sure. He taught me how to float, and since then I'm not scared of water. But it took 30 years for me to overcome that fear because I never tried to overcome that. So to your question, I think someone needs to work on the root cause, and I believe again the same thing uh, comes at the end, that when you're knowledgeable of that thing, you're not scared anymore. And whenever possible, take professionals advice, I would say.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, Anjana, ma'am, I think she's going to ask one more question.
Sure.
Yes, I want to ask one question. How could you distinguish between an anxiety, fear, or
And anxiety
Anxiety or fear
and fear.
or phobia. Anxiety,
So
fear, and phobia. And
and phobia.
phobia,
So
and one word for paranormal.
okay, so these are kind of all similar words, but have a little bit thin line in between that. So anxiety is nothing but stress, stress of something, and which stays there for a shorter time. Then fear is something you don't know, like as I explained. Phobia, you can say it's a mental illness where it can stay there for your life, throughout the life, unless and until you're working on it. And paranoid is again another term uh, which uh, gives you a scarcity of something for but for temporary. I like phobia goes really long time, but paranoid is you're paranoid of something. Like I suddenly told you to do something, jump off the cliff, and you're like, what? So I'm not going to tell you that. But the other things are kind of short-term illnesses, you can say, or issues. But phobia is the one who stays longer with your life unless until you really work on that. Does that answer your question?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Uh, Here is one more second question, ma'am.
and
Uh, uh, yeah, Anjana, ma'am, you're asking something. No? Okay, then. Yes, ma'am. Archana, ma'am. Actually, I have
yeah,
one more
I want
question.
to ask one more question. How do you help? Okay, you you ask. Santosh sir, please ask.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Archana, ma'am. Generally, it happens that after
If you
exams,
allow me, then okay.
especially, hello, yeah. Generally, it happens that after exams, especially both classes, students of class 10 and 12 have kind of fear, such as what would be their results, how much they'll score. Even after declaration of results, they have feared to opt subjects, colleges, universities, etc. So, what are the best ways to overcome from those fears? Um,
Uh, the thing is, you need to make them understand that there is no end of life if they don't get their own whatever they have option selected. If they don't get it, there is no end of the world. Second thing, it's always good to have multiple options. Um, like I wanted to be vet, but when I completed my 12th grade, I was not really bright student. When I completed my 12th grade, I'm like, oh, I want to be a vet. I'm like, sure. And my dad said that you have to go to Mumbai because we don't have college here. And I'm like, I'm scared of Mumbai. I'm not going there. Forget about that. How about I want to be a doctor? And he's like, sure, let's go. What do you want to do? I'm like, MBBS, no, BMS. Okay, we'll go to BMS. It's a nearby college. I'm like, okay. He took me to the college, and guess what? The principal is the best friend of my father. And I'm like, what's better than that? I am already a doctor. The principal is a friend of my father. My score is kind of okay for entering in medical side, and here the principal welcomes us and shows around, and oh, it's your kid, very nice, let me show around you. We have really a huge college, and she doesn't have to go anywhere outside because we have our own internship program, and we have our own hospital. Let me show you around. I go and see the hospital, and what the first scene I saw there is one really young person. He was sitting on that bed in the hospital. He was holding his head with the hand, and I could see a bone of his leg, and he was covered in blood. Just like Sanjay Dutt falls in Munna Bhai MBBS, I fell on the floor. I was fainted. I was unconscious. And here goes the drama. I come out of the gate of the college, and I told my father, I'm like, how about computers? So I was scared of everything. I was scared. I realized that I'm scared of blood. I cannot handle blood. And I just so for so many years I wanted to be something in medical department. I just canceled everything in a matter of 10 minutes. But I was not stressed out. I was not scared of what I'll do in future. So this is my message to all the students who are getting stressed out for exams or their score or anything in the future. You trust me on this. You really don't need much of your brain to earn money. You can go out there without education and you can earn money, right? But if you want to be successful, you have to be a knowledgeable. And what is a success? So please understand the definition of success. Success is nothing but being happy. I can be happy selling fruits outside, earning my money, and limiting my needs. I'm happy. Today I'm happy. So you need to understand success is not just your designation or what you do. Many times you just do because you want to show off. You want to show people what you are. You want to say like, oh, I'm lawyer, I'm doctor, I'm architect. But okay, after that, is anyone coming and asking you how you're doing? Are you good? Do you need any help? Do you need any emotional support? No. So the thing is, you need attitude to have other options ready for you and ready to go for it, right? So teach your kids, your students to have a great attitude. And I would say teachers really do a great job in building that attitude in students because I was in my personal experience, I was a mathematically challenged kid. I was really bad at it. My both elder sisters are engineers. My father was double graduate, B electrical, B mechanical, and I had that fear in my mind, like, oh, everyone in my house is engineer, but I am not good at math. I remember when I was in third grade, I told my teacher that I don't understand those word problems, when to do multiplication and when to do division. And tomorrow is exam, and I'm going to fail. And my teacher, I still remember her face. She was so kind, so loving. She just grabbed my face like this and she's like, kiddo, exam is not important. The thing is, you need to learn multiplication and division. That's important. But as we don't have much time, I would surely spend time on you and I'll teach you in detail. But for the time being, you just remember in word problem, when something goes higher in number, it's multiplication. And when you're dividing something or making it less, it's division. And I passed that exam. And then afterwards, she spent some time to explain me. So always go and whenever you're in stressed out, go and talk to someone, ask for help, have that attitude to digest failure. And there is nothing like failure. You always have different options to go and succeed. And happiness is a definition of success. Always uh, remember that.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
in
ma'am.
fact,
It
fear
was
makes
really, yeah, it was really a wonderful answer.
Okay,
And I
ma'am.
hope definitely our students might get the best results from your words. Thank you, ma'am.
yeah, fear makes. I feel that fear makes the wolf bigger than
Okay,
he
may I
is,
ask one question?
isn't it, ma'am?
Yes. And Jana, did you
Yes.
did you say something?
I think she wants to ask some question to you.
Yeah, may I ask one question?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, ma'am. How do you help others when you know someone is under the grip of fear, and how could you identify he's under pressure, he's under fear?
Okay, I'll give
Please say something.
yesterday only. I'll give one example of my little one. So, my daughter is 8 year old, and as it is the weekend, we usually so I don't have TV in my house. But I do have projectors where in the weekends we really watch good movies on. So we project the movie on the wall and we watch movies. So my son, who's 15, he was teasing my little one, let's watch horror movie. And she's like, I'm scared of horror movies. I'm not going to watch horror movies. Can you put something for me in the other room and then on the laptop or something, and you guys watch horror movies? I'm like, why you're scared? And she's like, oh, there are horrible things they show in horror movies. And I was telling her like, but those are fake. And she's like, no, no, no. Whatever. I'm afraid of that. I'm not going to watch. I'm like, okay, let's do a quick short horror movie shooting here. It's a 1 minute shooting, and let me show you how they project to you horror movies. And she's like, okay, I don't know, mom, what you're doing. I'm like, okay. So I just put her hair, everything in front of her face, and I told her like, your dialogue is. Um, this is me coming to grab you. And in the same tone, in the same voice. And I told my son, like, when I start recording, you have to say, light, camera, action. So we actually created a scenario, actual horror movie scenario of shooting. And my son, I started recording, he said, lights, camera, action. And here she comes. Crouching a little bit and see, I'm going to grab you. And suddenly at the end, I just scream like crazy person and I stopped the video and I showed that shooting to her, and it was actually looking like a mini horror movie. And I'm like, that's that's the truth. When they are scaring you off, there are like 50 people around them. So when you are watching horror movie, just if you're really scared to death, just imagine that there are 50 more people, and then they're telling the person to repeat the scene for 50 more times, put more hair on the face and something like that. And she said, Mama, it's actually a funny thing. Let's watch horror movie and let me see how they act really well. I'm like, there you go. So to your answer to your question is, Anjana, always find the root cause, why the person is scared. And if the person is telling you that I'm scared, never say that, oh, that's nothing. You should not be scared of. You should always say, okay, I understand. The word I understand works magically if you're showing the trust, faith. So it depends on what is the age of the person. If it is very a small kid, you should have trust in the kid. I saw ghost, mom. Okay, I understand. How was the ghost? Uh, was that a kind ghost or was that a really a bad ghost? Did the ghost trouble you? So always at the first moment say, I understand. I trust you. Never say, oh, there is no ghost. Okay, eventually we will tell the kid that there is no ghost or something like that, but always say, I understand. I trust you. Tell me more. So when someone is telling you that I'm scared, always appreciate that. Um, uh, say reinforce the behavior and always say like okay, and then work on root cause, then explain on your own way, and then treat or take action on his or her fear.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Here is one more question, ma'am. Is there something in your life that you really want to do, or a certain passion or dream you have, but you're not doing because you're scared?
So
Is
many,
there?
trust me, I changed my professions like so many times. Like as I said, right, I wanted to be vet, but there was a college in Mumbai, and for some reason, my mom and dad showed me Mumbai when I was kid, and we went on vacation, and I didn't like it. Everyone is stressed out. I couldn't see happy faces in Mumbai. I traveled in local. I was super scared of that local thing, and that's the reason. I didn't go for that profession. But again, I'm not so much like. mm, I'm kind of happy. I'm not wet because again, I would have failed there because I cannot do really good with blood thing. Um, and I'm in cybersecurity, I'm in software, and I love my job. And apart from my job, I'm following my passion. So I love dogs. I am a professional dog trainer. So side by side, I'm volunteering in rescue teams. I fostered so many dogs to make them adoptable. So yes, I did that a lot. Trust me. Every after now and then I changed my professional because I didn't want to go somewhere or I didn't want to leave my family. But for that reason, my mom, after my graduation, she forced me to go to Pune. So I was in Aurangabad. She forced me to go to Pune and stay in the hostel for my post graduation. And she told me, like, girl, this world is big and you need to understand people around you. And if you stay at home, you won't ever understand that. So she forced me, and I learned my life lessons when I was there for 2 years. That happens with everyone. Yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I have one more question. What message, suppose standard 10th and 12th students who are very much dreaming and aspiring to achieve a big goal, in competitive exams and they fail. Okay. So as a parent, how we should try to win over students because they are very much scared about like if they can commit suicide or they can be suffering from depression. So how should we win a child who is suffering from depression, ma'am? Just as a parent, I'm asking.
Um, I would say don't wait till your kid goes to 10th grade or 12th grade or something like that. If you have option to deal with a small kid, always call your kid as a strong person. So my father is used to call me Daredevil. Though I used to get scared of so many things, he used to always call me Daredevil. So, for example, so I used to play roller skating, and I used to fail all the time. And here I come home with all wounds on my hand, elbows, and knees are scratched off. And then I come home, and my father used to see me, and he says, "Oh, here comes the Daredevil." And I was like, I am a daredevil. Like, so there was no chance to express my pain and I'm like, or my crankiness that I got hurt and something like that. And he used to like, oh, so you won the battle? And I'm like, yeah, I did won my battle. I learned skating. I won the competition or something like that. So it all depends on how you react to your kid. Always make them feel that you're a strong person. Always. So I have seen really ambitious people or kids who want to do the that only one thing in their life, which is good, but always teach them the other side of the success, right? As I told you, like, okay, you want to be a doctor, you'll be a doctor. After then, what? Do you know the life of doctor? Because I have seen my one of the best friends. She did her law and then she goes to the court for her first trial, like assistant trial, and judge didn't give her chance to talk. She was so upset that she left the law professional and she went into software after spending so many years learning in law. So even if you get your uh, uh, whatever your goal, not necessary it would work out for you afterwards. So always tell your kids all the options, all the scenarios, what happens, and tell them like there is no failure. Like you watch so many movies. Have you watched MS Dhoni? He had to be a what a railway. What do you call it? a Ticketmaster or something like that, if you have watched the movie. So not everyone, so everyone goes with their own pace. Like my so many friends of my age are VP or CEO. So does that mean that I failed? No, that was not my passion to be a VP or CEO. So I'm happy with whatever I have, right? So right now I am a design assurance engineer. I'm not even a manager or a senior manager or a lead of any team. But whatever I'm doing, I'm happy. So there is you need to tell students that there are two ways of um, uh, developing yourself. One goes vertical and the other goes horizontal. So when my manager asked me, like, what do you want to do in next 5 years? What's your career goals? What's your path to success? I'm like, I don't want to go vertical. I don't want to be a manager and then director and then VP and CEO. No, I want to go horizontal. So I want to be a subject matter expert. I will just grab one cybersecurity field and I want to go horizontal. And she now knows what I want, how I'm going to approach. So you should always tell your students that there is a horizontal way or path to go. So how many of you know that there is a specialization course that teaches you doing pipelining under the sea? Do you know how difficult it is to do pipelining, which should not go water in the pipes under the sea? No, we don't know because we don't know all those options. There are hundreds of options out there where you can be a specialized professional in some areas. So I have seen even in India, there are professionals who tell you all those hundreds of paths to growing horizontally. So please introduce your kids to grow horizontally and give them all the options they can go for.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. That was really, interesting to know
Yeah.
and
May I
encouraging
ask some
also.
question?
Anjana, ma'am, is it a rapid fire
Yes.
round? One after the
Ma'am,
other?
Rapid fire
actually,
round?
Yes.
as we are
Ma'am,
talking
be
about,
Yes.
ready for rapid fire
I
round.
want to
yeah,
ask. I want to
as
ask some
when you,
questions.
actually, Anjana, ma'am,
Are you ready?
like as we are, uh, hello,
Uh,
yeah, actually, as we are talking about to get rid of
yes. Yes. Say.
fear,
Yeah.
so
Say.
here I want to add, like, to motivate students. I have one song, like, so that the student can get rid of fears. So like it goes like that, like, आशाएं
Yeah. Okay.
आशाएं 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 कुछ पाने की हो आस आस कुछ अरमाऊं जो खास खास आशाएं 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 हर कोशिश में हूँ बार बार कर दरियाओं को आर पार आशाएं आशाएं आशा तूफानों को छिर के मंजिलों को छीन ले आशाएं खिले दिल की उम्मीदें हंसी दिल की अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी नहीं कुछ भी आशा thank you so much, ma'am.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing on the rapid
Oh,
fire
very
round,
nice.
whatever it is.
You have such a
Um,
melodious voice.
uh, okay, Anjana,
Thank
for
you,
the
ma'am.
rapid fire sound so the round, I'm not going
Yeah.
to answer any mathematical questions. Okay.
Obviously, it is not, ma'am.
Okay.
Related to fears only. That is related to fears only.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where I know.
I need to find that phobia, mathophobia or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Earlier you said no. You are very bad in mathematics, so
Yeah,
I won't
yes,
ask this
I
type
need
of
a good
question.
teacher. Okay, I'm ready.
It's a fun. Okay. It's a fun. Okay.
Okay.
Then what is Archie's? What is Archie's latest fear?
Latest fear?
What is Archie's latest fear?
Latest fear is if my kid my
Latest,
kids,
yeah,
yes, my kids come
exactly.
to me with a math problem. It's latest fear. So I always make some reasons, and I'm like, okay, give me some break. And then I go on Google and I search everything on that math problem, and then I come back. So that's my greatest fear when my kids come to me with math
Okay.
problem.
That is still going on, I think so. It is
Yeah,
not ended.
Yeah,
it's a
very smartly.
mathophobia.
Yeah.
Back of cooking. Okay. Next question.
I must say you
Anjana?
are very smart. Yeah. Okay, next question. Yeah. What was your greatest fear as a child? As in your childhood?
Darkness. I was super scared of darkness, and as I said, I told my father, I took his help.
Darkness, okay.
Uh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you told. Yeah, you told that.
yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
told that, like, yeah.
You told that.
Okay. And what okay. Next question. What is the greatest fear of 21st century?
Coronavirus.
Yeah, obviously it is.
It's affecting me
Absolutely correct.
really.
This
Absolutely
is
very
very
true.
simple question.
The
Everyone
very,
this was very
very
simple
obvious.
question and everyone knows the answer. And now, yeah. Have you ever panicked
I
under
think one
fear?
more. I think one more
Have you ever
fear.
panicked under
Sorry,
fear?
I think one more fear of 21st century is what if robots takes over the world?
Yeah, artificial intelligence and all is
Yeah,
on the floor
yeah.
now.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Huh. Yeah. And next question, have you ever panicked under fear?
Panicked under fear?
I know you are very smart. Yeah.
No, no, no. I told you, right? When my coach pushed me to the swimming pool, in the swimming pool, I was scared to death. Trust me, I still remember that I had that feeling that I'm dying, I'm drowning, and I hated the most thing is that water is going in my ears, and that was I was really panicked. I was really scared. But after that, no, I didn't give anyone chance to push me anywhere. I'm always watching my back.
It means you don't have any kind of fear.
Right now?
Oh, it indicates you don't have any kind of fear actually. Okay.
Right now, yes,
And
because I learned to
uh,
deal with
last
fear.
question.
So no, yeah.
Do you have fear of death?
Uh, Fortunately, no.
Did you think?
Because oh, sorry, go ahead.
Really? No, no.
Oh, you were completing your question.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
completed.
so
I'm
oh
completed.
yeah, so okay, so no, because I was 26-year old when my father died in accident. I was in India, and he came to US to visit my elder sister, and they were going out for a long weekend vacation, and they were in the car and they got hit by a bus whose brakes were failed. Um, that time, I still remember that I always from my childhood we were from middle class family. I always used to tell my father that I want to sit in the flight. I want to fly. And he promised me like one day I'll make sure that you sit in the flight and we take a long journey. And I get call in the middle of night and saying that your father is no more. We lost him in an accident. He was very young. I was very young. Never seen the airport. I don't know how to where to take your luggage, how to check in, what security, nothing. That time I realized that. death doesn't come uh, giving you a prior notice all the time. So I've seen people dying with illness, a long illness, and something like that. But in my case, that was sudden. Before I realized what death is, it was in front of me, of my father, right? But throughout my taking flight and reaching USA, was I scared? No, there was no space for fear. I was just thinking one thing in my mind, what my father told me. He kept his promise. And he always used to tell me, like, you're a daredevil, you'll do it. He always used to say that. And from that day, I learned my lesson, like, death can come anytime, maybe tomorrow, or maybe once I'm done with this call, I go out and something falls on my head and I'm dead. I'm prepared for it because I use each and every of my day thinking that it can come anytime. So you should always be prepared and you should take it very positively.
Yeah.
I take it very positively because my father, he used to know so many languages. He taught me Urdu when I was kid. He used to take me to Dargah, and he actually taught me how to write Urdu. And I used to take it as a fun. And we used to go to Dargah. We used to read what is written on the walls of Dargah. Um, uh, and he taught me so many things. The first thing he taught me is to have that attitude to accept everything. So I used to play chess. And I used to cry when I used to lose my game, right? And he's like, no, you cannot do that. One day you will win, one day you'll lose. You need to understand that losing is fun too. Losing is nothing but learning something new. So I cherish his memories. And one major thing I forgot to tell you is he always used to, whenever I used to call him, he used to always tell me that I love you so much. And I used to laugh at it. I'm like, okay. And he's like, no, saying that you care, you love is very important. And I still remember a day before he passed, I was talking to him and he said, I love you. And I'm like, I love you, Dad. And that's the thing. When you're dying, you should not have any guilt in your mind. That's so very important. Talk to your friends, talk to your parents, talk to your kids, spend time with them. Give yourself a time. I So there is a me time in my home, and everybody takes it. I read so many books. I learn guitar. I do Warli painting. I do stuff other than my profession. So my profession is just to earn money, but I follow on my passion, and there is no guilt. So always remember, when you're scared of death, it's just because there is something left to do. There is something which you have not got enough time to do unfinished stuff. So plan your long-term goals, but always have your short-term goals and fulfill them each and every day. And then you're not scared of it anymore of death.
That was really nice, ma'am, and really sorry to learn
Very
about your
well
dad,
said.
but really
Let me
proud
answer.
also.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, very proud also that your father taught you so many things, and that is how you have emerged as such a good, uh, a knowledgeable person, we should say. Thank you for telling us this.
Sure.
It was
Next
really very
in,
nice, ma'am. Thank you.
yeah, next in the segment,
It's very, very, very
Santosh sir,
nice.
I think
Uh, uh,
we should give
ma'am,
time to the viewers. Anyone from the
yes, ma'am.
viewers, if
Yeah,
you
sure,
have
ma'am.
any questions, you can ask from ma'am right now.
Yep.
This is the time to the viewers, please. Yes, yes, Shruti ji, Dr. Shruti Pandey, do you have any questions? Anyone among the viewers? If not, then Santosh, you can
Yeah,
ask.
ma'am. Ma'am, I'm
One more
actually,
question.
If
yeah, actually,
may I
I was having the
Yes, you
questions
can.
and
may
ma'am
I
has already answered. Yeah, Anjana ma'am is going to ask me question. Yeah, ma'am.
yeah,
Okay.
actually, yeah, I'm going to ask one question. Actually, I have fear of camera. When
Camera?
this camera
You're
started,
looking
I just
beautiful.
went off. I mean, my mind was stuck. What I, yeah,
You know what
no,
you need to do?
I have fear.
You have fear of camera is like facing
Suddenly
camera
when yeah,
or taking of your
suggest me
pictures.
something. Yeah,
What kind of fear you have?
both. I
Both, like
think yeah,
someone is taking your pictures, you don't like it, or you're just shy,
yeah.
or it,
I don't like my pictures, and I feel very shy when
Okay.
somebody see me. Then I feel very shy.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm concluding. I'll interrupt in between. Hello?
Yeah, yeah.
Hello? I'll interrupt in between.
Okay, okay.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Is
You're
everyone
audible. Yeah.
listening?
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
Hello?
yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm really touched beyond words, Archana ma'am, to listen to you. That was a wonderful session with you. But you know, time is a storm in which we all are lost, okay? It waits for none. So before it runs out, I would like to thank each one associated with the program. Firstly, you, ma'am, for sparing your valuable time and talking and interacting with us, enlightening us. And next, we want more sessions with you for our students. It was really educative, it was wonderful, and we have learned a lot. We'll follow, definitely, we promise you that we'll follow and think about it. And next in the segment, I would like to thank Mr. Satyaraj Iyer for designing this beautiful concept, and then Santosh sir and Anjana ma'am for anchoring, and all the parents, teachers, students who had joined the program and made it a great success. Thank you so much, Archana ma'am. Once again, looking forward to see you. Namaste, everyone. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so